So a little while ago I added this shady alley to the Lego City. Thought it turned out really good and just adds some more dynamic to the Lego City. With the Sanctum Sanctorum being a corner building, it gave that little bit of extra space for the alley, which made it look a lot better. However, since then I've moved the Sanctum Sanctorum away from that alleyway to be with the other Marvel buildings. And in its place, I've just placed the assembly square there. I do still have the alleyway, as you can see, but it is a lot smaller than it was. I was toying with the idea of putting the Sanctum Sanctorum back over by the alley to give it that extra space again. But I've actually come up with a solution that's going to effectively kill two birds with one stone, as they say. So before I put the Avengers Tower and the Sanctum Sanctorum here behind the bowling alley, I had the Ghostbusters firehouse there. So I had to take that out so I can get those two buildings in. And since then, it's just been sitting here off to the side, waiting to come back into the Lego City. Trouble with the firehouse, it's 1.5 base plates deep, so I always struggle to find a good place for this building to go in the Lego City. But then I had a bit of a light bulb moment. Like the corner modular buildings, the Ghostbuster firehouse has this pathway down the side of it. So if I was to place the Ghostbuster firehouse by the side of that alleyway, it will give me that extra room I had before. And also, what screams Shady Alley more than some ectoplasm coming out the sidewalk? So I think the Ghostbuster firehouse is going to be a much better fit for this area than the Sanctum Sanctorum was. So I'm going to get that in place and we'll see how it looks after. What I'm going to do is just remove these two townhouse buildings and then basically slide everything down one base plate, and that'll give me enough room to get the Ghostbuster firehouse in place. So I'll just do that now. It is in place, and look at that extra space down there. That's looking good. And it's going to look even better when I add a few more details to the alleyway, make it look even more shady. And look how close it is to the wall as well. Thankfully, it wasn't where this plug socket was, otherwise it would have never have fit. So I've taken it back out now along with part of the alleyway so I can work on some more finer details just to make this alleyway look even better. To start off with, I wanted to give it the same beat up pathway that the alleyway had. I've done this by adding just different dark bluish grey pieces like the cheese slopes, 1x1 plates, 1x1 round plates, just stuff like that. That just gives it a bit more detail than just the plain smooth tiles in my opinion. Then I have another dumpster to add to the mix, but seeing as this is the Ghostbuster firehouse, why not add Slimer going through the trash looking for some food? Also in this area we'll add some guy just doing some graffiti on the wall. Just put his spray cans down on the ground. And he's getting ready to do some spray painting on the wall there. And then I had this one in the previous alleyway as well, but I had to take it out because of the lack of space. And it's this guy who's had his wheels stolen on his bike. He's just come back to find out that he's not getting home on his bike. I like that one a lot. So glad to have that one back in the alleyway. So now I'll just pop that back in and we'll see where we're at with it. Lastly though, I've just added this guy who's a bit worried at what he could have possibly stepped in.
Help me! Help me!
So we're back in place and they are some really good additions to the alleyway in my opinion. I'm really liking Slimer going through the dumpster, looking for some food. I like that one, and especially the guy stepping in the ectoplasm at the back. I think that it's really good to have some Ghostbuster themed scenes because we are next to the Ghostbuster firehouse now. So I'm really happy with how that looks. And I've been able to add a base plate at the back as well because there is enough room to put a small building in the back that's related to possibly what's going on in the alleyway with those two guys at the back there in the briefcase. Maybe some sort of gang hideout could be added there at the back, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, I really think a building back there would look really good. And plus it's needed so it can close up that gap as well. So you're not seeing so much of the wall behind the two buildings. So definitely look out for that update in the future. So I need to finish off tiling outside of the Ghostbuster firehouse. I might add some yellow tiles going along to the start of the road. I also might move the detective's office down to that part of the Lego City. With it being a pub, I think that it's more suited being down there. That way it gives this area more of a downtown feel. I don't think that Assembly Square is really fitting with the vibe that this part of the city is going to. So that alleyway is looking really good now in my opinion, and I'm really pleased to have the Ghostbuster firehouse back in the Lego City. Still a lot of work to do, like I said, with the tiling and moving some buildings around, but we are really getting there. Let me know down in the comments what you think to the alleyway and the placement of the Ghostbuster firehouse. If you haven't already, don't forget to like the video, it really helps out the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next LEGO City update.